Hello, and welcome to what I'm hoping is just going to be a quick video. So all this is going to be is a precursor to a haul that I'm going to do. A book haul after me and Grace have been in the UK together and then in Canada together. But these are books that I'm hoping to read soon once I finish reading my university reads for the first half of the year. This is what is on the list to get into after that. Now, of course, things are always going to be there. Like, what I'm saying is fantasy is always going to be in my reading. So when I go through the 5 books I have here and you're like, there's no traditional fantasy, what am I even subscribed for now? Fantasy's always going to be there, you know. I do have plans to read quite a few books in fantasy. This is just what I've picked up. I mean, I own all the Wheel of Time. I own the next Malazan books and everything I have to read. All of those, The Witcher, I have all of those. All of those books are there waiting for me. So when I pick up new books now, it's usually more literary because I already own all the fantasy that I've started and I'm going through. Conversation out the way, I would like to thank all of my Patreons for their kind support. It means the world to me. And also, if you do like and enjoy, then feel free to like and subscribe. Why not? So, like I said, we've got 5 books here. First on the list, Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. I have heard only good things about this book. I got this from a charity shop. It won the Booker Prize in 2019. Amy, who I go to university with, legend, recommended it highly. And in a concept video that never came to hand, where I was going to read my uni friends' favourite books, she chose either Wuthering Heights or Girl, Woman, Other. I mean, I'm not doing that video anymore unless people want to see it. So, on the back it says, "This is Britain as you've never read it. This is Britain as it has never been told, from the top of the country to the bottom, across more than a century of change and growth and struggle and life. Girl, Woman, Other follows 12 very different characters on an entwined journey of discovery. It is future, it is past, it is fiction, it is history. It is a novel about who we are now." I mean, doesn't that just sound fantastic? It does not give a lot away about what the book's actually about, which is always exciting, because there's nothing worse than when you pick up a book and it tells you what exactly is going to happen. When they've decided, yo, if we explained what was in this book on the back of a page, no one would ever pick it up because it sounds fucking crazy. That's when you know you've got a win on your hands. So that's what I'm excited for. I mean, it doesn't even have an inside blurb. The inside blurb is just a bunch of one-word reviews or like snapshots and the awards that it's won. So this seems like it could be a baller book. It is a long book for this type of book. I mean, it's 450 pages long, which is pretty crazy. But it's one that I've wanted to pick up for a while, but not one that I have felt that I wanted to read so much that I wanted to pay full price. So when I saw it in a charity shop, you best believe my little heart danced. Next up, The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. After reading The Lost Daughter, really enjoyed it. So when we went to London, I searched it out and I found The Days of Abandonment. Short. That's the best thing I can say about this right now. About just under 200 pages long. And it says, after her husband leaves her for a younger woman, Olga's days of abandonment. Fuck me, I can't read. After her husband leaves her for a younger woman, Olga's... I cannot physically stress this enough. I can't read. Everything about this channel has been a lie. I cannot read. After her husband leaves her for a younger woman, Olga's days of abandonment are a desperate, dangerous descent into despair and rage. Alliteration on point. We've got days, desperate, dangerous descent, and despair. We love to see it. Literally trapped inside the 4 walls of her apartment in the middle of a summer heatwave, she is forced to confront her ghosts, the potential loss of her own identity, and the possibility that life may never return to normal again. Sounds pretty lit. From what I can tell, Elena Ferrante is just writing about women losing their minds, and people that know me in real life will know that I am essentially a woman who is losing her mind. So, once again, after reading Lost Daughter, very interested in reading more of Elena Ferrante's books. So, job done. I apologise about the wind howling if you can hear it. It's very loud. This is one that I'm very excited about because it's a Fitzcarraldo edition. I fucking love these books. The minimalist, blue design. Oh, it makes me happy. It makes me so happy. So it's Pond by Claire Louise Bennett. The description, once again on the back here, is feverish and forthright. Pond is an absorbing chronicle of the pitfalls and pleasures of a solitudinous life told by an unnamed woman living on the cusp of a coastal town. Broken bowls, belligerent cows, swanky aubergines, trembling moonrises and horrifying sunsets. The physical world depicted in these stories is unsettling yet intimately familiar, and soon takes on a life of its own. Captivated by the stellar charms of seclusion but restless with desire, the woman's relationship with her surroundings becomes boundless and increasingly bewildering. Claire Louise Bennett's startling original first collection slips effortlessly between worlds and, as it turns, darkly funny and deeply moving. I had a burp at the end. Deeply moving. Under 200 pages. Series of short stories connected through one character, believed set in a coastal town off the coast, in Ireland. And yeah, sounds up my alley. Because the reviews I saw is, not much happens, darkly humorous. That's pretty much my life. So if we connect it to me being a woman falling apart and then add darkly humorous and nothing happens, this seems even more up my alley. So now we've come to the fourth book. This is a book that I've wanted to read for probably coming up to a year now, and my university lecturer recommended me this after I was kind of nagging her about what I should read. And this was what she recommended me. It actually has a Bernardine Evaristo quote on the cover, so it seems like it's very much in that vibe, and that is The Mermaid of Black Conch. This is not... There are so many different editions of this book already. It's viewed as like a vintage classic now. Do you know when Vintage put out their vintage, like, modern classics, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of calling it vintage? But it's a modern classic, people are calling it. I read the first 20 pages on a train coming back from York, which is where I got it. Grace lovingly got me this. She originally ordered me a different cover, which was the vintage cover. But, months after she ordered it, and after it was meant to be released, she then got an email being like, oh, sorry, we're not actually doing this edition anymore. Bye! And they ran away. So they refunded her, and then she bought me this. What this says is April 1976, St. Constance, a tiny Caribbean town on the island of Black Conch. A fisherman sings to himself in his pirogue. Pirogue? Pirogue. Don't know how to pronounce that. Pirogue. Either way, he's singing to himself, waiting for a catch, but attracts a sea dweller he doesn't expect. A catcher, a beautiful young woman cursed by jealous wives to live as a mermaid, has been swimming by the Caribbean Sea for centuries, and she's entranced by this man David and his song. But her fascination is her undoing. She hears his boat's engine again and follows it, and finds herself at the mercy of American tourists landed on the island for the annual fishing competition. After a fearsome battle, she is pulled out of the sea and strung up on the dock as a trophy. It is David who rescues her and gently wins her trust, as slowly, painfully, she starts to transform into a woman again. But transformations are not always permanent, and jealousy, like love, can have the force of a hurricane and last much longer. It sounds brilliant. I read the first 20 pages and was absolutely floored by how much I was loving it. Unfortunately, I had to read other books for my university course, so I had to put it down. But there's a reason that's number 2 of my most anticipated, because it was fantastic what I read so far. And then finally, we're not only switching genre, we're also switching form. We are switching mediums, boys. That's exciting. I'm pulling off a sticker, so I'm rambling for the moment. I'll probably edit this out, but if I don't, then you're going to watch me as I try to fix this sticker I've just fucked up. Nevertheless, we're switching medium, and the book is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Because I want to read manga. I want to read manga because I have always loved comics and graphic novels. I've always enjoyed that medium, and the only thing the reason I stopped reading comics and graphic novels was purely how expensive it was. They are outrageously priced. I used to read them when I first went to uni, and I couldn't afford it. I stopped and then never got back into them. And I've wanted to read manga because it's gorgeous. It's absolutely wonderful, and it is absolutely something I want to get into. However, the expense, I don't want to get into a series where I'm spending, like, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Kieran worked out how much you need for Berserk, and it's like a few £100, which is absolutely outrageous. So I went for one that I could get 3 for 2 on, and also it is just a concrete story unto itself that I don't have to buy other things for, and that was Uzumaki. Look at this. Look at that artwork. And it's just gorgeous. And so I'm very excited to get into this. I have been putting it off purely because of my uni reading. The moment I finish, I think these two, all of these are coming out, and I can't wait. I've been so excited to finish my uni reading and actually read what I want. It's going to be so worth it when I can. And so, this is spirals. This town is contaminated with spirals. Kuruzu-cho, a small fog-bound town on the coast of Japan, is cursed. According to Suichi Saito, the withdrawn boyfriend of teenager Kirigashima, their town is haunted not by a person or being, but a pattern. Uzumaki, the spiral, the hypnotic secret shape of the world. This bizarre masterpiece of horror manga is now available in a single volume. Fall into the whirlpool of terror. Sam from my Discord has read this now. They described it as sickening. I think they said it was good but disturbing and sickening. Like, they actually felt physically ill, and that sounds amazing. Like, that's the best review I could possibly have gotten for this going into it. Because if you're going to read horror and it's going to be that visual, physical feeling, you want to have a visceral reaction. You want to sit there and be disgusted and feel the horror. And so if that hits it, I'm so excited to get into this. So that is why it's number 1 on this list. I know there are going to be people in the audience that are like, ugh, not another fucking person reading manga. Go away. And I understand. I do understand. It's a new phenomenon. Not a new phenomenon. The explosion, the overtaking of pop culture feels like it's bigger than it's ever been. And I am wrapped up in it. I enjoy watching people talk about it. I don't think I'm ever going to be a super fan. I don't think I'm ever going to fall into that hard. But I do want to try it. And that's what we're getting here. So, that's all I'm going to say. That's the video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please do like, please do subscribe. It does make my little heart flutter with all the good feelings. And as always, have a nice rest of your day. And if you've read any of these, please tell me. Tell me what you think. If you haven't read any of these and want to, tell me which ones you want to hear about first. Tell me anything.